Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorton. I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Habib. We have a great show for you today, and as always, you can catch us on the web at ringsidereporter.com. If you want to call and ask questions or just give your 2 cents, call in now at 323-870-3857. Hit option 1 if you want to talk to us. And we'll be here till about 9 tonight, about 9 o'clock tonight. Today, we're going to talk about Chavez versus Canelo reportedly rakes in over 1 million pay-per-view buys. That's right, 1 million suckers out there. It also turns out that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was robbed after that fight, which, kind of serves him right after robbing us of $70. Robert Easter Jr. will continue his reign of terror over the lightweight division when he returns on June 30th. But first, we get started with James Toney versus Mike Shepard. Robert, it's a slow week when we start off here with James Toney and Mike Shepard. James Toney wins by knockout at 26 seconds into the 6th round. Toney became the quote-unquote heavyweight champion at the age of 48. I saw highlights of the fight. Shepard was actually winning this fight up until the knockout. Toney looked completely awful in this fight. He weighed about 248 pounds and looked every bit of it. He still showed some defensive prowess that he's known for, and obviously he's still got some power left. With the win, James Toney wins the WBF heavyweight title. Beeb.
Yes.
Toney has eclipsed George Foreman as being the oldest, quote-unquote, heavyweight champion in history. Would you consider him the WBF? He lifted the WBF title from Mike Shepard. Maybe they were just fighting for it. I don't know if they even lifted it from him. What do you think? Is he the oldest heavyweight champion in history? Do you consider this a monumental win for him?
So the WBF or the WWF? Which one is it? With all due respect, absolutely not.
Wow.
That's like me, Revere. What does that mean? What does that mean? Hey, I'm the champion of the I'm the champion of the 48 class of Revere, or 47, I should say. What does that mean?
What's funny is that, and we'll talk about this fight later on, but we'll talk about the Fresno Kendo and Shannon Briggs fight later on. But Shannon Briggs, he's up there in age 2, and he has a chance to become the, quote-unquote, heavyweight champion of the world. But I would consider him part of that mix. I mean, if he wins it, he is the heavyweight champion, because that's a major title. Would you agree with that? I mean, we may look at him and say neither one of those guys are the champion. But the bottom line is that's a bigger name belt. If Toney would have won the WBA last night, would you have considered him the heavyweight champion?
No, because the thing is this. I don't like what the WBA's done with the super champion and regular champion. When you dilute, the championships, it just takes a lot of, credence away. It takes a lot of credence away from the title, in my opinion. I hate what they did. Was like one of the worst things. It was one of the worst things. It was one of the worst things they've ever done. Like, out of a sanctioning body, to do a regular champion and a super champion. It's bad enough that you have all the sanctioning bodies. So if all the sanctioning bodies, think about it, had a regular champion and a super champion, then there'd be 6 heavyweight champions. Or 8 heavyweight champions, I should say.
Yeah.
So that just confuses things even more. It makes things even, makes things worse. It's just, so if Shannon Briggs was fighting for Anthony Joshua's WBA title, as Robbie said, the real heavyweight WBA title, then that would mean something. But to have a regular champion and a super champion, it's What's the next? A regular champion, a super champion? What do you have? Like a mediocre champion? Like how many belts can you create? It's ridiculous.
The WBA mediocre champion.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm beating a dead horse here. I mean, it's been said time and time again by a lot of different people about how these titles there's just too many titles. Yeah, the WBC has a silver title. Pretty soon there's going to be a platinum title, a bronze title, a cubic zirconia title. It's just too much, and we all know at the end of the day, it's all about sanctioned fees. So,
Robert, what are your thoughts on this?
Look, guys, we're all over the age of 40 on this podcast.
Don't remind me.
What are they trying to do? Set up a senior citizen boxing division? I firmly have issues with anybody fighting over the age of 40. I mean, Vladimir Klitschko showed me a couple of weeks ago he's still got something left, and I thought he was on a banana peel. But how many 40-year-olds or above are actually going to get in the ring and look like they actually belong in the ring? I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. You have a 48-year-old James Toney, a 44-year-old Shannon Briggs, and a 42-year-old Fred Akindo. They should have their own division, and they shouldn't be considered serious contenders for the heavyweight title unless they beat somebody who is a serious contender for that title. I mean, I think this is a fucking joke, to be honest.
Whoa!
And I think this is, I think this is boxing's way of taking advantage of senior citizens.
Yeah, but in fairness, we thought the same thing about Klitschko too. I mean, we thought the same thing. And how are we going to know? I mean, unless they fight. We don't know. Incidentally, did you guys hear that Klitschko is now ranked number 2 for Deontay Wilder's? I think I heard about like that. Is that something that would interest you guys?
Yeah. Well, after what he did on April 29th, yes, because I firmly believe Vladimir Klitschko could beat the hell out of Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, what do you guys think of that fight? I mean, Beeb, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think that I think he's I think he's definitely a live dog in that fight.
I would pick Klitschko to win that fight, and if he was like a 2-1 underdog, I'd feel very, very comfortable. Some serious cash on Klitschko, and again, I'm not a hater of Deontay Wilder. I just seen him fight, and there's just a lot of holes, and he's actually, in my opinion, regressing. I just think he's regressing as a fighter. Things he does when he steps back, puts his hands up like this, I just see Joshua just ripping the hell out of his body if he does something like that. And I just see Klitschko, just being able to really jab, jab right through that guard. Like he throws his hands up like that. It's like he has like he's not defending himself. It's just
what that reminds.
And then when he gets a guy hurt, he's like this, and it's just a lot of things. He throws punches like he's like this. Just I don't know, man. When I see him get a guy hurt, and he's just like throwing punches like a whirling dervish, and then I look at what Anthony Joshua did when he had Klitschko hurt in that 11th round, how he was just picking him apart with precision, punches, everything was tight. It was like, the elbows were in, the right hand was coming over the top, the hook was just snapping. He wasn't going like this, and he was, throwing body shots, he was mixing it up. I see Deontay Wilder going like this, and he's getting away with it because he's fighting guys like that guy, not Chris Arreola. What's the other guy there? The Hispanic guy that he fought?
Gerald Washington.
No, not Gerald Washington, but the other guy, the Hispanic guy that he fought. Eric Molina. I'm sorry, Eric Molina. I forgot your name. And just the guys he's fighting, man. And Gerald Washington was outboxing him. And who was the other guy there? The Eastern European guy, the bald guy that was out. Spilka. Spilka was outboxing him. And Duhapis, Spilka, they were all boxing him before he landed the knockout blow. And we just seen Anthony Joshua get up off the floor, being hit with the punch from Vladimir Klitschko, and arguably hits just as hard as Deontay Wilder, and the technique I think is better, and he knows how to set that shot up. He's a lot more craftier setting up his offense than Deontay Wilder, and he landed the perfect shot against Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua got up and he weathered the storm. So Deontay Wilder to say, oh well, I would have never let you off the hook. I just saw you hurt several guys and then go like this. I just don't see him hitting Anthony Joshua with those types of punches, is my opinion. So he did not look like a great finisher, throwing these types of punches against opponents. And the only reason why he's getting away with it is because he's not fighting a Klitschko. He's not fighting an Anthony Joshua. And he hasn't had any fight to really prepare him, Anthony Joshua or Vladimir Klitschko, in my opinion. But again, people are going to be like, oh, you're a hater. His style just does not appeal to me. I mean, he's got a great right hand, okay. But even then, sometimes he'll throw it like a sidearm. It's just like, he gets excited, his adrenaline's flowing. I think all technique goes out the window. And he even said himself that, you know what, I am not a guy that has, prototypical boxing skills. I just wing it.
Yeah, change that,
when you get to this level, I don't think you can get by with it.
Interesting question.
Go ahead.
Interesting question for the two of you. Who do you consider to be the weakest heavyweight champion right now? Is it Deontay Wilder or is it Joseph Parker?
Joseph Parker
by a long shot.
I think
Joseph Parker
we had.
Because again, Joseph Parker, he's got a great jab. He's got good balance. He moves well in and out. But again, he's a guy that last week he was slapping with the right hand too. He was throwing a lot of arm punches. He was winging shots too. His technique isn't the greatest either, but at least you could say he's on balance. He's not like leaning over and basically falling over himself. As his shoulders are lined up with his knees, and he's not just falling in and just winging shots. I mean, he throws a lot of arm punches, and he doesn't really put snap on everything he throws, and he seems to fade a little bit and keeps his hands low. He'll throw a right hand, and then he'll drop it down like around his chest area. But I just think that the one advantage Deontay Wilder has over Joseph Parker is obviously that eraser-like right hand, which I don't think Joseph Parker has. So they both, I think, are weak technically. They're both weak technically, but at least Deontay Wilder does have some freakish power with that right hand. We can't take that away from him. But again, it's going to probably take more than that. It's going to take more than that against a Joshua.
You know what Wilder reminds me of when he puts both of those hands up like that and kind of pushes off? You know what I'm talking about? Where he got the hand.
He goes like this and he's like that, yeah.
You know what he reminds me of? Remember Hasim Rahman in that second Lennox Lewis fight?
Oh, wow.
When he got busted up with that right hand. He got hit with that jab and right hand because Lennox timed it, and he caught him. That's exactly what he looks like when he does that, and he's gonna get tagged by somebody.
You know who else he reminds me of?
Who?
You know what else he reminds me of? Myself, when I was about 10 or 11 years old, and my father was coming at me and giving me a whipping. Those are the things I used to do because I had no answer for my dad at 11. When I was like 19 and 20, then I could start slipping, carrying shots against old dad. But when I was that young, I didn't have the Beeb technique.
The Beeb technique.
So that's what I was like. I was like, Dad, no. Dad, no.
Deontay Wilder also reminds me a lot of Michael Grant. He's very vulnerable. Anybody with a punch is going to seriously do damage to him.
Yeah, he's been hit. I mean, he's been hit a couple of times. I mean, in all fairness, he's been hit a couple of times. But, I mean, because, again, he's in there with heavyweights, so you're going to get tagged, But, yeah, man, I'll tell you what, he doesn't have the skill level. If we're talking skill level, he's not up there with the skill level of a Joshua. And honestly, he wasn't up there with the skill level of Klitschko that we saw against Joshua.
No, not at all.
Now, I tell you what, that's a fight I would like to see is Klitschko versus Wilder. The Klitschko that we saw last week, can he muster it up? Can he do it one more time? I don't know, man, because that's a good fight for him. That's a really good fight for Wilder. Will it happen? Hey, who knows? Who knows? If we're lucky. I don't know. All right, on the undercard in the Ypsilanti, Michigan, where James Toney won, on the undercard, Toledo's own Sonny Fredrickson defeated Daniel Montoya. Fredrickson won via a 6th-round TKO. He did some good work to the body and was able to finish a fight in the 6th round. Rock Nation may not be doing a great job promoting this kid, but I'll give him this, man. They are keeping him busy, and that's what he needs. He's now 17-0 with 11 knockouts. As of this post, he's ranked number 12 of the WBA. Okay, Ricky Burns is at the top, but Rancis Bartholomew and Carol Relic are going to fight, I think it was next week, to see who's going to be the mandatory for Burns. I talked to Wood earlier because he's interviewed Fredrickson a couple of times, and we have too. We've had him on the show. And Wood feels that he thinks he could be in line for a voluntary title shot, because he'll break the top 10, I'm sure, which I think he will. But my feeling, he's still quite a ways away from a title shot, especially given the fact that Bartholomew and Relic are right there. And I don't think he's anywhere near ready for either one of those guys, any one of those guys. So, and I guess it's not Burns' title anymore, is it? Or is it? I don't know. So.
No, it's Andalgo.
Yeah, that's right. It was
Andalgo.
That's what it was, Andalgo's. I know I had that wrong. I'm looking at him like, wait a minute, Burns isn't at the top. So there you go. All right, let's go across the pond. Khalid Yafai versus Suguru Muranaka. Yafai easily defended his WBA title for the first time. He knocked down Muranaka in the 1st round and just completely dominated the fight to win the unanimous decision. Scores were 118, 108, 119, 107 twice. Beeb, what are your thoughts on young Khalid?
I like him. The thing I like about him, too, is he's a guy who turns his shots over and has some snap on his punches. I like how he throws that hook. He just throws it like from the hip over and puts a lot of shoulder and hip into it. It's not an arm punch. It doesn't take him a lot of space to have to get that punch off. He doesn't open it up. There's not a lot of torque on it. And another thing I like to ask, this guy was a converted right-hander, if he was actually a southpaw at one time, or if he's left-handed, because he really is real surgical with that left hand. He'll come up with the body shot, then throw a 45 up and under, and then just turn it over, right into a hook. So he'll go to the body, then nice 45 to the chin and come up over and hit his opponent to the jaw. So he throws like 3 punch combinations with the same hand. And a lot of people, opponents will not be expecting something like that. The right hand is okay too. It's not, anywhere near the left hook. But I just love how this guy puts shots that goes upstairs, downstairs. And I like how he can squeeze off short shots and really turn them over and get some snap on them. And, he took some good body shots in there. I mean, what was the guy? Japanese?
Yeah.
The Japanese. What was his name?
Suguru
Muranaka.
Yeah.
Suguru Muranaka. Again, this kid was reminded me of Juan Diaz. He's a grinder. He just kept coming forward. And in the mid rounds, I thought that he was putting some pressure on Yafai. And I thought Yafai, like I said, caught some good body shots. But I thought he got a second wind in the second, in the championship rounds. And I thought he finished very strongly. A lot of people were expecting him to get the knockout. But again, his opponent was game. He was durable. He was tough. And, in the later half of the fight, it looked like he may have had him going, but the kid was tough, and he just hung in there, and he was hitting him with some good shots. You could tell his opponent was very well conditioned for the fight. He just didn't have the hand speed or the foot speed to be able to deal with Yafai. Yafai is definitely the more athletically gifted of the two, and it showed in the fight without question.
Absolutely. And Sam Eggington, also on that undercard versus Serafino Rodriguez. Sam Eggington, fresh off his win over Malignaggi, scored a spectacular 10th round knockout over Rodriguez to win the European belt. Right uppercut followed by a left hook finished him up. And Frankie Gavin won a close unanimous decision over Reynold Garrido. Score was 77-75 on all three cards. And did you happen to catch the Josh Warrington fight? I'm not sure if you caught that one or not. I know I didn't catch it.
I actually missed that one, but
yeah, apparently
that was a pretty decent fight too.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it was very close. Josh Warrington won a very close 12-round decision, majority decision, over former world champ Kiko Martinez. 116, 112 twice, and 114, 114 a draw. So definitely a majority decision. Let me ask you a question, Beeb. Where does Yafai go for here? Is this guy ready for big time or not?
Well, I got to be honest with you. He's going to get better. I think, defensively, maybe he could work on a few things. I think offensively, he's okay. The right hand, I think, could use some improvement because it's basically a kind of a filler type punch. It's not a punch that is as effectively or efficiently as the left. So this is strong. I think he's in good shape. I like how he puts shots together. I like how he moves in and out. I like how he can fight in the pocket too. He's not a guy that is one-dimensional. He's not a guy that is weak. You see a lot of guys that can fight on the outside, but they can't fight up close. You see a lot of guys that aren't effective in the mid-range. I think his offensive game is pretty strong with the, again, just a tad, throwing a little with a little bit more snap, a little straighter, not like, winging it a little bit. Sometimes he opens it up a little bit, opens that elbow up, and some of the snap off it. But the left hand is beautiful. I love how he throws that uppercut, that hook. And I like how he's, like I said, he moves very well, gauges distance very well. I think he can get better. I think he needs to polish up a little bit, but he's close. He's close to that point where you can say, you know what, we'll put him in there with anybody. 3 more fights, and I think he'll be at that stage where you can say we'll put him in with anybody.
Yeah, I think so too. And then also, too, over the weekend, UFC had a card. I think it was UFC, 117. I don't know what it was. But all I know is that Cleveland's own, Ohio's own, Stipe Miocic, the baddest man on the planet, the heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC, defeated Junior Dos Santos. I believe it was in the first round by knockout. So, Title Town, also known as Ohio. Beeb, we got everybody. We're going to have the 2-time NBA champs here. We got the UFC heavyweight champion. We got the lightweight champion of the world. We got Adrian Bronner. We got it all. It's Ohio. Who's better than us, right?
Yeah. Ohio's on the come up right now. I can't. Right? I mean, I'm not gonna be a hater.
Right? There it is.
Absolutely.
There it is.
My Warriors are going to have something to say about your Cavaliers.
They barely got that win today. They barely got a win today. It was just dumb luck. The guy just threw the basket up. He didn't know where the basket was. It was covered. Just dumb luck. All right, let's go to the phones real quick. 503. 503, you're live. All right, we have to come back to that one. Wow,
that?
I don't know.
Someone's vacuuming.
Did it sound like a vacuum cleaner? Yeah. We'll come back to that. My goodness.
Wow.
You go. Wow. All right. So let's go. Let's talk about the upcoming fights here, and we got some good ones this weekend, man. I tell you what. We definitely got some good ones this weekend. Incidentally, Davey Boy is in the chat saying that that he sent us all the fights this weekend. We know.
He did. I apologize, Davey. I only got a chance to watch that your 5 fight, man. I was working all weekend, B.
Yeah.
I was working all weekend.
We had a busy.
I appreciate him, Davey. I don't want you to stop sending them. It was just
please do not stop. Yeah, please.
Yeah, it was just a hectic weekend for the Beeb.
Absolutely. All right, so coming up on May 18th, that's a Thursday, I believe. Robert?
Thursday, yeah.
All right. From Tucson, Arizona on ESPN2, and of course, Robert's favorite station, ESPN Deportes. Diego De La Hoya versus Eric Ruiz, 10 rounds, junior featherweights. Demetrius Ballard versus Dennis Doglin, 10 rounds, super middleweights. Why does Oscar De La Hoya hate Diego so much? Why doesn't he ever put him on these big cards?
He don't do his nephew any good here. But at least he's on national TV on ESPN2. That's an improvement,
Yeah, I mean, but he's not even on ESPN.
Yeah.
He didn't even put him on ESPN.
I know,
It's like
well,
on ESPN2.
but-
But you know,
Yeah.
I tell you, you know what's funny
I
is
know.
what I didn't know about De La Hoya. You know what I didn't know about is he doesn't speak English. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that he didn't speak English.
No,
he speaks no
He
English.
does not.
So
He does not.
also part of the Broadway boxing in New York on May 18th. I don't think this will be televised, but there'll be fights. Heather Hardy versus Adina Kiss, 8 rounds, female featherweights, and Olympian Charles Conwell versus Daniel Cesaros, 6 rounds, junior middleweights. So there you go. If you're in New York, go check it out. Let's see what else here as we go through. May 20th is the big one. We're going to talk about this one in a minute. Terrence Crawford versus Felix Diaz, 12 rounds for Crawford's WBO and WBC junior welterweight title. And then Raimundo Beltran versus Jonathan Maciello, 12 rounds, IBF lightweight eliminator. Shakur Stevenson, also on that undercard, versus Carlos Suarez, 6 rounds featherweights. I hope we get to see Stevenson. I don't know that we will, but I hope we do. From Oxon Hill, Maryland. Oxon Hill's killing it lately. Didn't you say they had a new casino or something like that there, right, Robert? That's what's going on?
They have a new exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So also on Saturday night, Gary Russell Jr. versus Oscar Escandon, and that should be packed. I mean, that's that's Gary Russell's hometown right there in Baltimore, Maryland, right in there. 12 rounds for Russell's WBC featherweight title. Jose Uzcategui versus Andre Durrell, 12 rounds for the vacant IBF interim super middleweight title. What is that? IBF interim super middleweight. All right. And then Rancis Bartholomew versus Kiro Relic, 12 rounds, WBA junior welterweight eliminator. We just talked about that one too. And then also Gary Russell's brothers, Gary Antonio Russell is going to be on the undercard, 6 rounds junior featherweights. And Gary's other Russell, Gary Antoine Russell, will fight junior welterweights 4 rounds. So a lot of Gary Russells on that card. And then
across the pond.
Yeah, across the pond. This is interesting. Showtime's got this one. This is a real interesting fight, man. It's getting a lot of press here. Gervonta Davis versus Liam Walsh. 12 rounds for Davis's IBF junior lightweight title. And we're going to go ahead and start there in just a second here. Let me run down the rest of the fights here. PBC on Fox Sports 1, David Benavidez versus Rogelio Porky Medina, 12 rounds for the WBC super middleweight eliminator. Hassan Andam fighting in Tokyo, Ryota Murata, 12 rounds for the vacant WBA regular middleweight title. I wonder who's fighting for the irregular middleweight title. That's what I want to see. And then also too, this is going to be a big one here, May 21st, and that's a Sunday. Naoya Inoue. Everybody's always talking about this guy versus Ricardo Rodriguez. 12 rounds for Inoue's WBO junior bantam title. Again, I don't follow him, so I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Ricardo Rodriguez, but we want to see Inoue in there with a live body, and hopefully Ricardo Rodriguez brings it, and we can see what he's got. Everybody says this guy's a good Beeb. Let's talk about this for a second. Everybody says this guy's the goods. You've seen him fight. I've seen him fight. I'm not that impressed. Are you impressed?
With who? Inoue?
Yeah.
The thing is he's being hyped up. He's being hyped up to be like on monumental levels, and I think he's good.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's as good as everyone says he is. And I think the bar has been set so high for this guy. He's been just such lofty expectations, and we have to see him, achieve some of these things. We have to see him in with some of these other champions before we decide that this guy is the goods. I think he's good. I'm not quite sure he's as good as everyone says he is. He could be, but I still have to see him in there with other champions.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I come out on him, is that he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on him. I think he's a really good fighter. But is he as good as they're hyping him up to be?
I think he's solid. But nothing that I see how when I watch Joshua, this is why I loved Joshua, because I just loved how he put shots together and he could hurt you with anything he threw. To myself, this guy's going to be a problem. Now, when I look at Inoue, I say this guy's good, but I don't know if he's going to be a problem. When I say be a problem, meaning like any guy that gets in the ring with them, will he be able to handle? And like when I look at like even Errol Spence, I look at Errol Spence and I watch him and I see how he operates on the inside, how he just like rips to the body. Like he's a beast with body shots. And when he gets up close, I love how he positions his body. Like he's just so hard to contain on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I think once he gets in there, I don't think most fighters in that division would be able to handle him. Do I have that same feeling when I see Inoue fight? No. I don't get that same feeling. I don't get that same impression when I watch him. Because we like to use the term eye test. When I give him the eye test, I say, he's solid, he's good, he's top level, but is he like elite? Maybe it's too early to even say those things. Maybe it's not fair to say that now. But does he have the potential to be elite? I'm not sure. Right now, I'm kind of a little on the fence, as you said that you are.
Yeah.
So.
I know Corey when he calls in, he's really high on Inoue and stuff like that.
Yeah, he loves him.
Yeah, but Corey was really high on David Haye too, but I'm just saying. I don't want to bring that up. All right, so let's talk about Terrence Crawford versus Felix Diaz. 12 rounds for Crawford's WBO, WBC Junior Welterweight Championship. This is not the fight I wanted to see. This is not the fight I wanted. I wanted to see Terrence Crawford versus Adrian Granados. I thought that was the better style matchup. I thought that was the better fight. I just thought that was just a better matchup, a better fan-friendly fight. I thought that Felix Diaz was a safer choice. Just my opinion, because I thought. I thought
you're not intrigued by this fight at all. Like after seeing what Felix Diaz did with like Lamont Peterson.
No, not at all. I think that Granados would have been the better. I would love to see how Crawford handles the pressure that Granados would have brought him. I wanted to see how he handled that kind of pressure. That kind of bell-to-bell pressure where he's not going to be able to escape. He's not going to be able to get away. He's going to be forced to fight every round of the fight. You know what I mean? And I think that Crawford dismantles this guy, and I think Crawford does it within 9 rounds. To me, I don't see it. I don't see this as an interesting fight, but I tell you what. I mean, I'm hopeful that
Eric, I very rarely ever have to do this, but I disagree with you.
How dare you?
Felix Diaz earned this title shot with the way he performed against Lamont Peterson. And yes, I think Terrence Crawford is going to win this fight. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but I don't think it's easy as you think it's going to be. I think Diaz is going to present some interesting challenges for Crawford, and I think it's going to be a lot tougher than people think. I think you're underestimating Felix Diaz. Now, what I don't like about this is, A, it's in the big room in the Madison Square Garden. I don't think Terrence Crawford is going to draw that kind of crowd in New York.
Yeah.
B, this is an in-house fight. This is 2 top-ranked fighters fighting against one another, so Bob didn't even bother negotiating with anybody else. He just plugs in 2 of his fighters and calls it a day. But I do think Felix Diaz is going to present a much interesting challenge than what you're making it out to be. Yes, Crawford will win the fight, but I think he's going to have to work for it.
All right.
Yeah. You know what this fight reminds me of? That it could shape up to be somewhat? When Crawford fought Gamboa. You see how that fight was kind of interesting for as long as it lasted?
Yeah.
The thing I like about Felix Diaz, though, is solid defensively. He's hard to hit. Well, he's quick. He's a quick guy. You know what I'm saying? So, Crawford, this fight, like, he's going to have to track this guy down. A lot of times he doesn't like doing that. He likes guys coming to him. He likes being the counterpuncher a little bit. And, he doesn't like to have to chase guys. Do that. So that's the interesting thing about this fight. How's he going to deal with this smaller, quick guy who gets kind of low off on him as easily as he has other guys. That's the interesting.
Will he be able to
this
hurt
fight.
Crawford? Will he be able to hurt Crawford?
He may not have to hurt him, but tension, possibly, because he's sneaky, he's crafty. Well, will he hurt him? Can he compete? Punch for punch. Is the power comparable? No, I don't think it is. But that's the question probably you need to ask. Can he win rounds? I think he can.
Wow,
interesting.
Yeah, Beeb, I think he can, because this is a totally different opponent than Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, I think he can too. Yeah, I think he can too. That's what I'm saying.
He boxes real well. He moves, and his defense is very, very good. And Crawford is not used to somebody like that.
Interesting. I hope you guys are right. I'm hanging my hat on what you guys say, man. I'm hoping you guys are right, because I think this fight's a wash, but hopefully I'm wrong. That's for sure.
Well, the odds makers
ask
agree.
Lamont Peterson how Felix Diaz is.
That's right. The odds makers agree. All right, and then Shakur Stevenson versus Carlos Suarez. I hope we get a look at Stevenson. Saw his last fight, his first fight. I mean, he looked good. I mean, no question, he looks good. But does he have the power to compete? I don't know. And he went the distance with his first guy. I mean, maybe they're stacking him. I mean, like I said, he skipped the 4-rounders. He's in the 6-rounders now. B, what are your thoughts on Shakur Stevenson coming up? I don't know if you caught his first fight or not. Maybe you caught highlights of it. But he's very fast, very mobile. But I don't know that his power is fully developed there. He looks like a very small guy. But and I don't know if he has that big punch. And don't you kind of need that coming in?
Yeah, he's not a big puncher. And to me, again, this is no knock, but he still looks like an amateur fighter.
He looks like a little kid, yeah.
A very good amateur fighter.
Sure.
Absolutely. But as you said, I mean, not everyone is going to be that power puncher. You can say what you want about guys like, Paulie Malignaggi and Andre Ward. But, Andre Ward can get your attention. He can get his opponent's attention. He can nullify his opponent. It's not like people walk through Andre Ward's punches. And Paulie Malignaggi was able, in his prime, to control fights with his jab. It was a sharp, snappy jab. This young man, Stevenson, I agree with you. Again, the punches don't really have a lot of snap to them. They're not really authoritative type punches. So he seems to me to have that mentality of, playing the game of tag like they do in the amateurs. And, can he develop? Will that change as time goes on? See, but as of right now, and again, it's not fair for me to just say that, this guy's not going to be not going to be a good pro. He's not going to be anything in the pros. It's not fair for me to say that now. But, you asked me a question. What did I think of the fight, the performance? And that's basically what I have for you right now is I think that this guy doesn't look like he has a pro style yet. It's like Shiming. He's another guy that to me still looks like an amateur fighter.
That's a very good parallel.
And this could be something similar. I could be wrong, but as it looks right now, it could be something similar to that.
That is a perfect parallel. You're 100% right on. But to be fair about it, I mean, like I said, he's had one pro fight. He's had one.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Hey, you know what? I mean, when you go,
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
You're a silver medalist. You come in with a lot of hype. You're going to get this kind of, scrutiny. Yeah. So hey, it is what it is.
Nice kid. He's a nice kid. I mean,
super nice. Super nice.
He's the type of kid that you would want to get behind, no question. I mean, he's the type of kid you'd want to root for. But we have to be real. I mean, we're here to analyze. And we have to be fair in our analysis. We have to be honest in our analysis, right?
Absolutely, 100%. All right, let's go to the Showtime card from Oxon Hill, Maryland on Saturday. Gary Russell Jr. versus Oscar Escandon, 12 rounds for Russell's WBC Featherweight Championship. The only thing that concerns me about this is the layoff. Oscar Escandon shouldn't be any problem for Russell Jr.
Yeah.
But the layoff, I think he looks rusty. Maybe he looks rusty in the first couple of rounds. I think he gets into a groove, and I think he beats him, and I think he beats him pretty handily. I don't know whether he knocks him out or not, but I think that Russell wins pretty handily, should win pretty handily. But to me, Russell's got to do more than just win handily. To me, Russell's got to impress. He's got to look very, very good here because he's been off for a long time, injuries and whatnot. You've got to come – if you're going to come back and you're going to call out guys like Lomachenko and stuff like that, this is the time where you've got to, hey, look, man, you've got to make a mark here. This has got to be a statement type of fight.
Yeah. I'd love to see a Lomachenko rematch. And I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I would. And I'm going to be honest with you because I normally don't do this. I don't think we saw the best Gary Russell in that fight. There was something off there.
We had his father on, man. We had his father on the show. Father said that he had hired that trainer. Yeah. And the trainer was giving him, telling him to go in the sauna or something crazy happened there. Yeah. And then the trainer voted out of camp or something. He wasn't right. And in the second round, he came back and he told him he was gassed. And you know what? I believe his dad. What's his dad going to lie about? His dad seemed very forward.
I agree, Eric. Normally, I look at things like that as a cop-out and as an excuse. But to be honest with you, I wrestled fight several times. And away from Lomachenko. I'm not saying that, Lomachenko did not fight brilliantly on that night. I'm not saying that at all. That he would, that Russell would 100% certainty, unequivocally, that I think Russell would beat Lomachenko. All I'm saying is this. I believe he will give him and can give him and has the ability to give him a better fight than he did. And that's why I'd like to see a rematch, because I would like to see the real, probably we should have been able to see under different circumstances, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. What are your thoughts on Gary Russell Jr., Robert?
Well, I agree with you, Eric. I think he walks over Oscar Escandón here, but I am concerned about the layoff. Because the rumor I hear is that if Russell wins this, his next fight is going to be Joseph Diaz Jr., the one that was just on the Canelo undercard. And of course, that's a easy fight for him because Diaz does not present any problem that Gary Russell hasn't faced before. But maybe this is their idea of saying, okay, you've been out for a while. We're going to make sure that you step up your activity level. So we'll see what happens. But no, this should be an easy fight for Gary Russell. But the layoff does concern me because had he been fighting a regular schedule, this is no contest. But I think with the layoff here, it'll go longer than what it probably should.
Yeah, and you know what? I heard that same thing, and I know that Diaz people seem to be chasing Gary Russell Jr. I don't know why. I don't know what they see in him that – what the deal is, why, what they see in him or whatever. But I tell you what, man, that's not a good fight for Diaz Jr. I don't think.
I think Gary Russell shreds him to pieces.
You know what?
For sure.
I like Joseph Diaz Jr., but I said on this show last week that would be a major career mistake for Joseph Diaz Jr. because Gary Russell will just walk right through him like a knife through butter.
What do they see? What are Diaz's people seeing in Gary Russell that they think? Because they're chasing this guy. They've called him out and everything like that. I don't get it.
A lot of people they sleep on Gary Russell's skills and they question, because he's got the hand problems and stuff. They question whether or not he's going to punch with full authority. In other words, they're going to question his power. They think that, and it's another knock on him or another claim on him is that he fights in spurts. He doesn't fight the whole 3 minutes of the round. So the perception that they probably believe is, hurt us, and we think we can outwork him. We know he's fast. We know that he's highly skilled. We know he moves well. We know that we're gonna have to track him down a little bit, and it's gonna be hard to pin him down. But we know themselves. We know that we're going to be the ones putting in the work. We're going to be throwing the punches, whereas this guy is going to maybe fight in spurts, and we could probably steal some rounds on this guy. That's what I'm thinking that they're thinking. But, you know, you can think what you want, but again, what happens on the night, you know, more often than not is a lot different than what you believe is going to happen. So
yeah, Russell Jr. can bang, man. He can hit.
Yeah, he can bang. He can crack.
Sure.
He can crack. He's a really good fighter.
The other interesting one on this card was Rancis Bartholomew versus Karo Relic for that WBA junior welterweight eliminator. That's going to be a good fight, man. I like Bartholomew in this. I like Rancis Bartholomew a lot. I think he gets past him, but I tell you what, man, that's no joke fight, man. I think that Relic is a very, very good fighter, very tough fighter. That's going to be a tough fight for him. And then, of course, we won't see them, but these guys are very touted too, and that's Gary Russell's brothers, Gary Russell and Gary Russell. Gary Russell Jr. and Gary Russell Jr., the second or third or fourth, but they're all named Gary Russell. I think there's all but one named Gary Russell, kind of like George Foreman. They're all Gary Russell.
Wow.
So yeah, so I hope we get to see them. They come in with a lot of hype behind them, and they're supposed to be very, very good fighters. So that'll be interesting too. And then so the big one this weekend, obviously from London on Showtime, Gervonta Davis versus Liam Walsh, 12 rounds for Davis's IBF junior lightweight title. Everybody's picking Liam Walsh. A lot of people are taking the upset in this. I'm hearing a lot of people say Liam Walsh is gonna upset the apple cart here. I don't see it happening, man. Gervonta is just too dangerous for me, man. Too dangerous. He's gonna shred Liam Walsh.
Yeah, again, Liam Walsh, I like him. Definitely a very good fighter, but he's a guy that's a grinder too. Like he's not going to be on his bicycle in this fight, so it's not like Gervonta Davis is going to have to go searching for him. These guys, this is the old cliche you hear all the time, and a lot of times when we say it doesn't always happen. But I'm going to say it, and I'm going to actually believe it. I think this is going to be a fight that's going to be a war. It's going to be fought in the trenches. I'm not going to sit there and say it's going to be Gotti Ward. But this is going to be a very exciting fight, and this is going to be a fight where, I think Liam Walsh will put it all on the line, and he's going to be fighting for, he's going to be fighting for his respect in this fight. He's not going to sit there and, run from Davis at all. This fight's going to be in his backyard in front of his fans, and I think he's going to try and show and prove for his fans, and this fight's just going to be a really exciting, entertaining fight. As long as it lasts, and I stress upon as long as it lasts, because this kid Gervonta Davis hits like a friggin' Mack truck, and I think that next week, this Saturday, I should say.
Yeah. Do you think realistically that Gervonta Davis or that Liam Walsh is going to be able to stand the power of Gervonta Davis?
No, that's why I emphasize while it lasts. Yeah. So
Liam Walsh. To you, you don't think Liam Walsh really has a shot here, because that's where I'm coming at.
I hate saying that,
sure,
because it kind of puts a damper on the fight, but I don't see it. I don't see him winning the fight,
because I think he's custom made for Gervonta. one of those fights.
Yeah.
Robert, what are your thoughts on this fight?
I don't have a problem with the fight, but one of my major questions is, why does the champion have to go to the challenger's home country? Does Liam Walsh bring in a lot of people like an Anthony Joshua, where this fight had to be in the UK? You would think in a situation like this, since Davis is the champion, the guy from the UK would have to come over to the US to get his title defense. It's very interesting to me that Floyd Mayweather, being Davis's promoter, agreed to allow his champion to go over to the UK. I think this is going to be an easy fight for Davis, but I am interested in kind of how this came to be, because normally you see this the other way around. What do you guys think about that?
Can I explain it?
Yeah, I was gonna explain it, but you go ahead.
Yeah.
Go first, Eric. Go ahead, and then I'll chime in after you.
Okay, well, here's my take on it. And Gervonta Davis, my guess is that he's not a big draw here. He's not. And everybody, England, boxing is so hot in England, that they're selling out arenas and stuff like that they can make more money going to England to fight Liam Walsh, who really is tailor-made for Gervonta Davis, in my opinion. He's tailor-made for him. he goes over to England and he makes a truckload more money than if Liam Walsh came here. That's my take on it. And it's definitely a money thing for sure. And it's not that Liam Walsh is the A-side or commanding anything. It's that the money is to be made over in England. I mean, you just saw with Anthony Joshua, are they going to sell out Wembley for this fight? No. But are they going to make I mean, look at in a couple of weeks with what is it, Bramall Lane, where Kell Brook is going to fight. That's a soccer stadium, son.
Yep.
That's a huge venue.
Yeah, I know.
Huge.
And to piggyback off and elaborate further on what Eric says, you could say what you want about Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather obviously is promoting this fight along with Frank Warren. You can say what you want about Floyd Mayweather, but he's a smart guy when it comes to boxing. He's an opportunist.
Yeah.
There was a reason why he fought on the Mexican holidays, and there's a reason why he's bringing his fight to the UK, because he knows that the UK is hot right now, and there's a reason why he opened the gym in Eastern Europe, basically right now too, because he sees how that amateur program over there is thriving, and he wants to snatch some of those, those young fighters coming up, because those guys are really starting to surge over there in Eastern Europe in terms of talent, and he knows that the UK is hot right now, and as Eric said, I mean, it's all about the dollars. He's gonna, when he sees something. I think you really have to look at what Anthony Joshua did. Anthony Joshua did was so special. He changed boxing on that day. He really did, and he put he basically created a lightning rod, and now I think a lot more people are focused on the sport because of what Anthony Joshua did, particularly in the UK. So not only what he did was special, but it's only going to make UK boxing even bigger, because so many times, the UK fighters would complain about the United States fighters not wanting to come over and fight them. And they would always say, why would you not want to come and fight in a stadium in front of 60, 70, 80, 90,000 people? Why would you prefer to fight in the United States fighting in front of 17, 15, 18,000 people when you could come over here and fight in front of 80, 90,000, 70, 60,000, whatever. But now they're not saying that anymore. You know why they're not saying that anymore? Because of what Anthony Joshua did. I mean, he opened all these young fighters' eyes. He just put a spotlight on the sport of boxing. And now you're going to see more and more people coming over to the UK. And you're going to see some great events now because of what Anthony Joshua did, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely go along with that.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So there we go. All right, let's go to 508. 508. 508, you are live.
Oh, he's back home now. Get it ready. Hello, Georgie.
What's going on, guys, with my intro?
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
There you go.
Every time I call and I don't hear that, I feel sad, baby. So that's official until I get my original, my Ringside Robert, my Inside Reporter championship. I'm going to take it from Beeb.
That's right. That's right. What was all right? So what was the bet again? Refresh my memory. What was the bet between you and Bees, where you get your own intro if you win? What was this bet again?
Oh, this is another pie. This is another pie bet. This is another pie bet, and guess what? Wins the fight.
That's right. That's right.
It's a pie bet, but hello.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'll let you explain. I don't want to rain on your parade. Go ahead.
It is a pie bet, but at the same time, we're going to crown the Ringside Reporter champion. We're going to have that intro.
Yeah.
Until somebody take it away from me.
Yeah, for sure. For
you
sure.
know, because I'm definitely going to be Beeb.
So the bet is this, Eric. This is
he's against the grain. Beeb's done.
This is a big time bet. This is a bet that a lot of people would not do. Yeah, I mean, because the Beeb is putting himself behind the 8 ball. He's fighting the world on this one, because he's probably the only one that's ever going to make a bet like this live.
Live.
Errol Spence not only has to win, he has to win by knockout.
Right. He's got to knock him out. And if there's no knockouts in the fight, Georgie wins.
So do you know Errol Spence could win every round? He could have a 10-8.
Hard to accomplish.
Yeah.
10-7 round in every round in the fight. Kell Brook could be like this with 2 seconds left, and then the bell rings, and he makes it through. And the Beeb will lose the bet. He'll lose the bet.
All right, but Beeb, let's go by perspective here. I mean, you've seen the Porter fight. Even though Porter is not the same as Spence, but we can say Porter got more experience than Spence have. That's a given.
Yeah.
And we can also say that he's more aggressive. So if Brook can pull out his octopus shit, don't you think that he only got to make it to the 12 rounds? David gonna go now. Tank Davis gonna go out there and grab a belt. You think anybody gonna go to the UK and grab 2 belts from here from the United States in less than a month?
Errol Spence,
brother.
Errol Spence.
Don't allow that. It's outrageous.
Errol Spence is
not gonna happen.
This is going to be one of the most devastating. This is going to be I should make another bet with you. This is going to be knockout of the year. I'm already dubbing this fight. I'm dubbing this fight as knockout of the year. This is going to be a vicious knockout. I don't wish anything bad on Kell Brook. Please, my UK brothers out there, I am not wishing anything bad on Kell Brook. But the Beeb has to give you the truth. I have to bring reality. I have to bring reality to the masses out there. All the Beeb maniacs. I can't let you down. I can't lie to you. To sit there and expect, as much as I love the UK, I don't want you to put false hopes in all you guys' heads out there that Kell Brook is going to win this fight. Guy, Errol Spence, man. This guy is a beast. This guy is devastating. This guy is going to hurt Kell Brook on May 27th.
But listen, baby, you can really say this, Beeb, because he only fucking knocked out a fucking what was it, Algieri. I mean,
and Algieri was drinking protein shakes, egg white omelets, turkey burgers. This guy was in prime condition. Manny Pacquiao knocked this guy down. He put a beating on Chris Algieri. The beating Manny Pacquiao and Chris Algieri lasted. Errol Spence went in there.
Baby, on my worst day.
And beat Chris Algieri.
On my worst day, I put a beating on Algieri. I ain't saying nothing. Robbie can put a beating on Algieri. What are you talking about? He
got hurt so badly, Georgie. He's now Danny Jacobs' personal.
Algieri does wind sprints in his driveway when it's iced down, 0 below weather, and he doesn't even slip and fall. That's how much of a warrior this guy Chris Algieri is.
His driveway isn't very big. I'm just saying it's not very big.
Doing wind sprints.
Listen, man.
Blizzard-like conditions. Who else does that?
The subject. Let's change the subject because this is a dead issue, people. This is a dead issue. That's being delusional over there. I would like to talk about Gamboa loss because, like, if you see Gamboa, everybody's saying that he's already, on his way out. He should retire. He didn't give a good performance. He fought somebody out breath, fucking fighting nobody know, and he got, he quit on the corner one night. So if we talking about Gamboa, how long Gamboa been this way? Now, do we have to take credit from Terence Crawford for his win against Gamboa?
Yeah, no, I don't think
basically,
so.
Georgie, Terence Crawford put Gamboa in retirement. He hasn't been the same since.
But that's what I'm saying. It's since then or was even before he fought him? Did that take some of the luster that Terence Crawford got on that win over Gamboa? That makes me really think. When I he quit on the corner, I mean, is it really was that Terence Crawford put it on him like that, or Gamboa already was going on his way out?
No, I think Terence Crawford sped up the pace. I think he ended his career that night. Gamboa has never been the same since, and hopefully he does the smart thing and never boxes again.
Yeah,
okay.
I hope so too.
Well,
I don't want to see
him again.
Eric? I don't want to see Gamboa again for sure, man. I mean, after that fight, man, that his last fight, yeah, no, he's done. He was brought in. That guy was a showcase fighter. That was a showcase fight for Gamboa, and he got murdered. Yes, sir.
Can we clear something up real quick? There's someone in the chat that
picked the Amir Khan. You picked the Amir Khan, son.
Did I pick Brook over Triple G? Did I do that? Be honest. I said Brook was going to get killed in that fight.
Yeah, I think he did. I think you did. I think you picked Brook.
I did not.
No,
I did not pick.
No, I mean you picked Triple G. You picked Triple G in that fight.
Yeah. I did not pick Brook
I don't think any of us picked Brook.
No.
Fight.
I would tell you.
But he did take Khan over Canelo.
I did take Khan over Canelo, but there was no way I picked Brook over.
Claims he was winning that fight. He wasn't winning that fight, son.
Khan was winning the fight 5-1.
He was winning that fight. He was getting murked.
No, seriously. I was 100% sure that Golovkin was going to beat Brook, and that's no disrespect to Brook.
Yeah, I thought you had.
I just did not see Brook.
You had Triple G. I'm sorry, you had Triple G in that fight.
Yeah, I had Triple G in that fight.
Yeah, and keep one thing in mind.
None of us picked.
Keep one thing in mind, guys. Triple G broke Kell Brook's eye socket. What do you bet? The truth goes right after that eye.
I think the truth goes right after his body.
Let me just say this though, and again, Kell Brook, even at 160, he was lean. He was lean at 160. Okay, is anyone concerned about him going back down to 147?
I am. I know his trainers are.
I've been concerned since he decided to do that, Beeb.
Name a time when this ever played out right. Chris Bird went from heavyweight all the way down to light heavyweight, and he got knocked out. Okay, Roy Jones went from heavyweight to back down to light heavyweight. Oscar De La Hoya went from 154 down to he was as high as 160. Went back down to 147. He got knocked out. Somebody please name me an instance or an incident where a fighter came down after after really struggling to make a weight or fighting at a higher weight. Tell me one time where it ever went right, where it ever went right for a fighter. Tell me. So why all of a sudden is it going to go right for this guy?
It never happened.
It's never gone right for a fighter.
That's a really intelligent point, my brother. Really intelligent.
Here for.
The thing that you're not taking into consideration.
I'm here to enlighten people. That's what I'm here for.
Taking into consideration is that the masters already got this plan. I mean, certain things just go beyond people's skills and what make logic. I'm telling you,
he's got a bionic eye socket
titles in the same month. That's not happening. It wouldn't concern me because it's true. It's like 30 pounds, a lot of pounds, yo. So that is really that definitely intelligent point. But
the one thing
I want to talk about Wilder. I want to talk about what was Eric.
I was going to say the one thing that nobody's talking about is that Brook's handlers didn't want this fight. None of Brook's people, his promoter on down, did not want this fight because they said from 160 going back down to 147 because he was lean, like you said, at 160.
He's lean.
They did not want this fight. They didn't want him to cut all that weight to go back down there. They wanted him at 54, where they thought it was a more comfortable weight for him. He would be good, and he's not killing himself to get down there. This is not a fight he wants for sure. This is not a fight his handlers want. He may have wanted it, but his handlers for sure didn't.
I'm going to say something controversial.
It's a dangerous fight, really dangerous.
For sure.
I'm going to say something controversial.
Fight, bro. Everybody got Spence as this killer. So the dude's strong. I mean, we see Spence and he's strong and everything. But, hey, like I say, sometimes, boxing itself is not really determined by the fighter's skills and some shit outside the ring. But I would like to talk about Wilder real quick because they got this narrative they've been talking about. If Wilder would have put down AJ like Klitschko did, AJ would have got up. And this is how we start this conversation. This is how you notice the bias on people. Why we have to make this question when the first thing that happened on the fight was AJ pulling Klitschko down? Why the first question cannot be, well, Wilder would have got up when AJ pulled him down? Why we got to surpass the AJ knocking down Vladimir and going straight to, if Wilder would have dropped AJ when that didn't happen first?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Understand what I'm saying?
I think both are really interesting questions. You know, I mean, because we've never seen Wilder have to face adversity in there. And, you know, subsequently, I mean, we saw AJ face adversity in the Dillian White fight, but that was it. I mean, he hadn't really faced a ton up to that point. And the amount that he got in that fight, I mean, the amount of rookie mistakes that he made and he came out on top in that fight was great. And I think that for me anyway, and that's a good point, I want to see, you know, what Wilder's made of at that point. But to the question, could he have gotten up after the Wilder right hand? Yeah, I mean, look,
why not?
We could have. Why not? I mean, if he got up after Klitschko's, those were bombs that he landed, and he was dead tired.
But the point I'm trying to make is this: we cannot go to why if AJ would have got up from Wilder knocking him down when that happened afterwards. The question should be: would Wilder would have got up when AJ pulled him down, because he pushed down Klitschko? So we like. Oh, not me, but most people that come up with this question is like they surpass the fact that Vladimir went down first. So how could you be asking the other question? You know what I'm saying? When we got to go chronologically how the events happen and what happened.
That's a great point.
That's
a great point.
So the question should be,
but here's another question.
Here's another question. Way that Klitschko got up.
You need to ask yourself, why all of a sudden did Joshua get exposed? Why was he made to look vulnerable and he has holes when we've seen Deontay Wilder be behind against Spielka, be behind against Washington, and he needed a right hand to bail him out because he was losing the fight. Yeah. He was losing the fight to guys who were several rungs down, you know, below him in the ladder, you know, compared to Klitschko. At least Joshua could say, you know, he showed those weaknesses against a guy like Klitschko, whereas Wilder's showing weaknesses and he's down on the scorecards against guys like Spielka, against guys like Washington, and then he's being hurt by guys like Molina, and then Dupapis is swelling his eye up. So why aren't these same questions about vulnerability and being exposed being put on him? Because essentially what Joshua did was the same thing that he did. You know, and Joshua was still winning the fight on a lot of people's scorecards. You know, I had him up by 2 points, you know, at the point of the stoppage. Wilder was actually down on the cards against Washington and against Spielka and needed the right hand to bail him out. So why wasn't he exposed? Isn't he, you know, being questioned more so than Joshua? That's the thing that's crazy to me.
I mean, this is the problem, Beeb. This is the problem. The word exposed is misused on boxing big time. They say Brook exposed Triple G when Triple G stopped him. They say Jacob exposed Triple G when Triple G won. A close decision or whatnot, but we're gonna have to go with the judges, whatever they decide. So how could you be exposed winning? So they misuse and abuse, and they use it in all kind of ways. On some biased way, these were exposed. Every time somebody come out saying that, oh, such and so got exposed. If the dude won, he didn't get exposed because he won. So I mean, it's the way people want to see this, you know. I guess.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that, you know, until those two fight, you're always going to have people that love Wilder, people that hate Joshua, and vice versa, you know, and they're always going to compare him. Well, there's no way he could have got up after that Wilder right hand. If Wilder would have hit him, that fight would have been over. You know, we won't know until they fight. I'm just saying eye test and skill level and everything like that. If you look at the two skill levels, and I think if you asked Wilder point blank who's better skilled, if he's being honest, he'd have to say Joshua. You know, now whether he'd say that or not, but I mean, if you're being honest, you can't possibly look at both of those guys and say that Wilder is more skilled than Joshua. I just don't think you can do that.
Did Kiko Martinez just fall for the title, Brian? Did Kiko Martinez just fall for the title?
What's that?
The fight that Kiko Martinez had with the Harrington dude, what was it? The title shot that was for the title?
No, it was he was the number Josh Warrington was the number 3 featherweight in the WBC. He's unbeaten. He's 25-0 with only 5 knockouts, but he beat Kiko Martinez in a majority decision.
But it's like eliminatory for a title. If they're going, like, next fight should be some for a title.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. No, he's just rated number 3. I would imagine he's still back. He's very close to a title shot. I know Warrington is very close to a title shot. But
I mean, because Kiko Martinez seen his best, and we just got to move away from Kiko. With all the respect that these people put on the ring and whatnot, but it's like the same thing that I always say. Some of these names, they just all to me, man. So many people on the line, and you start hearing the same names over and over, and after losses. So he lost, what was it? He lost against Leo before that, right?
Right. Yeah, Martinez definitely seen better days, but he didn't do bad. I don't think he did bad against Warrington. It looks a fairly close fight. Again, I didn't see it, but again, 116, 112 twice, and then 114, 114. That's a close fight. That's 8 rounds to 4, and then tied. That's not it's not a gimme, man.
I don't know, man. We need new blood in this sport. We can be seeing the same names because, like, back in the days, you used to have one shot to the title.
Yeah, you remember that?
You didn't make it, baby. You was down the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to go down, way down. And
you lose.
Until you like beat 3 or 4 niggas in the row convincingly.
That's it.
And now you see all these names being recycled and recycled and recycled like there is nobody else out there on the line. And this is what is wrong with boxing.
Well, that's you remember back in the day.
All the way back down.
Absolutely. You remember back in the day where top 10 was something. You know, it was a murderer's row in top 10. So you got to the top 10, you've done something. And then to go ahead and, like I said, when you got your shot, you better be ready. Because if you lose that fight, then, you got a tough road back. You didn't see a whole lot of rematches, once you lost. Yeah. Sure.
That's how it used to be back in the days. Now we sound like old heads, We sound like we hating the new generation. It's not that we hating the new generation. It's that this is just ridiculous, man. We can see these people over. If I see our jury one more time, I'm just gonna puke. It's certain names that we cannot see no more.
Algeri is a world-class fighter. How could you puke when you see him?
He's a world-class shape maker.
He's a bouncing bunny. All he does is jump on that ring, and he ain't got no power. He got 2 cuties for hands. There has never been nobody great on boxing with some type of punching power. You need something to crack. If you don't got something to crack, you ain't got no business here.
I agree.
And there's some of these people that just cannot crack, and they force you not being no main event. It's simple. But we got things so watered down. The other day I heard, who was it? Oh my God. Forgot his name, all-time trainer. He's narrator now on ESPN, Teddy Atlas.
Yeah. I
see Teddy Atlas talking about how watered down the sport is, that when Joshua accomplished what he did, we think it's the greatest since sliced bread. So we getting this shit so watered down. It was a great fight, but now we got to go all the way 20 years ago, 30 years ago to make a comparison. You see? And whose fault is that? It ain't my fault and ain't your fault. It's these mafias, brother. Same old. But great show, guys. Got to go. One love to you and everybody listening. Thumbs up and support.
All right. Very good, man. Very good. Georgie, great call as always. And in 2 weeks, we're going to find out, will Georgie be the new Ringside Reporter champion, or will Beeb defend his title? And Errol Spence will get the knockout. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out.
A real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American.
If Beeb wins, we're gonna send him one of those WWE belts.
That's right, baby. I'm still the UK. I still bleed the UK. Don't get me wrong. This is just one occasion. This is just one occasion that I gotta be Benedict Arnold this time. I gotta be Benedict Arnold for this one day.
You are taking Gervonta Davis in a landslide. You're taking Errol Spence in a landslide. I'm just saying. Just saying. England's adopted son. I don't know, man.
We're gonna have to pull. We're gonna have to
I have my dual citizenship and my passport. Don't worry about it. I can still get in the country.
I just got a text here from Eddie Hearn. He says Beeb's a wank. I don't know what that's about, so I don't know.
I don't believe that for 1 second. Me and Eddie go back a long way.
You and Eddie go back a long way. All right, guys. If you guys are in the chat, or you guys, we just want to make sure give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. If we're entertaining, if you like what we're doing, you like what we're talking about, give us a thumbs up. If if you're listening to us, go ahead and subscribe to us, and that way you get all our shows and all that other good stuff. You don't miss any interviews or anything like that. So with that, let's go ahead and keep going here. We've went through the upcoming fights. Now let's talk about the news and rumors section here. And to start it off, the big one, Chavez Jr. and Canelo Alvarez estimated at 1 million pay-per-view buys. Many outlets are reporting that the Chavez versus Canelo pay-per-view did over 1 million buys. Does this mean pay-per-view is back on track? Beeb, what say you?
Well, Eric, I believe a few weeks ago I called that this would be 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Maybe, but I believe last week you said
absolutely out of my mind.
Last week you said 500,000. I'm just saying.
No, you go back and you listen to the tape, man. I said 1
I believe
million.
you did. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you.
I actually said 500,000 pay-per-view buys, and I'm going to be honest with you.
No, I did not.
No, I did, Robbie, not you.
Yeah.
I think Robbie did say 1 million. I can vouch for that. I believe he did say 1 million. What did you say, Eric?
350.
Yeah,
I said 350.
Yeah. And I got to be honest with you.
Joe, I believe your number was 700,000.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh yeah, I did initially say 500, but then I started listening to like all the excitement, and I got to be honest, I was very impressed with how the fight was promoted. I thought it was really promoted very well. And I'm going to answer your question, Eric. Does this mean pay-per-view is back? No, it doesn't, because I still think that there are going to be exceptions to the rule. There are going to be exceptions to the rule, and I think you may have 1 or 2 fighters, in any given era that may be able to do well pay-per-view, but the majority of fighters I don't think are going to be able to. I don't think pay-per-view is back. And to be fair though, I think it's always been like that. You've never had like 5 or 6 pay-per-view stars in the same era. It was always usually 1 or 2 at the most, possibly 3 tops. So this pay-per-view model is only designed for certain fighters. Party of fighters, I think, aren't going to be pay-per-view stars. It's just the reality of the situation. So yeah, but I think he did a million pay-per-view buys, right? But back in the day, Oscar De La Hoya was doing like 1.5, 1.4, and this is when you didn't have Dish wasn't really popular back then in the 90s.
And it's a big
these
fight.
guys,
this is a big fight too. This is a pretty big fight, So to just be getting 1 million, but do you think that? Let me ask you guys this: do you think that Triple G and Canelo does the same, or do you think people are going to have a sour taste in their mouth, of course, because of this? I mean, this is 2 big pay-per-views in a row. You think about it now. You talk about Mayweather Pacquiao. That was a huge pay-per-view. People, and that's what kind of started the exodus, and that people tuned in. They said, all right, we're going to see a fight, and then we didn't see a fight. In this one, we got 2 Mexicans here. How could this possibly be a bad fight? Tunes in, and you got suckered. That's the long and short of it is you got suckered. Do you think that Triple G versus Canelo does the same or more? Robert, I'll start with you.
I think.
Look, I think the casual fans are going to feel slighted here, but you can't punish Canelo and Triple G because that is truly going to be more action. I mean, the saying is true. Styles make fights, and I think Canelo and Triple G will be very entertaining, and those that choose not to buy it because of the bad taste in your mouth from May 6th, you're going to make a big mistake because I think you're going to miss out on truly something that's going to turn out to be spectacular, and it could be the beginning of a fight trilogy.
Could be. Beeb?
I think the Golovkin Canelo fight will probably do about 1.5. I don't think it'll do much more than this. But again, you know, the thing is this is just I don't know if Golovkin is more popular now than he was 6 months ago. I don't know that, and I don't know if he can become more popular. I hope I'm wrong, because I would love to see this fight, you know, be in the 2 million pay-per-view range, 2.4, 2.5, whatever. I would love to see that, but I don't know. I'm not sure if this guy Golovkin has crossed over. It's going to be tough for him to cross over. I just think it's going to be tough for him to cross over.
Yeah, I hope the pay-per-view tanks.
I think his performances, the more he fights, and that's why I say this could be like a 2-fight or a 3-fight series. The more these two guys fight, and if they put on entertaining shows, I think his popularity will grow.
This is the fight that could possibly put him over.
Yeah, should.
You know, especially if he gets a stoppage, which I think he will get. Then this could be the fight that he really needs to put him over. Glad that they've went out of their way to make this fight. I got to give major props to Team Golovkin, Tom Loeffler, K2. I really got to give them major props, and I'm glad that cooler heads prevailed and they were able to get this deal done, because this is the fight they need if they really want Golovkin to cross over. They need this fight.
Yeah. And, like I said, I mean, I do hope the pay-per-view tanks, but I'm the Grinch when it comes to pay-per-view. I hope it goes back on regular TV or HBO or something like that. I'm not trying to pay for this stuff. I don't want to. So that's where I come out on it. Beeb.
Brianna, let's go. Hurry up. Don't keep us waiting. Get in here. Get in here, Slowpoke. Let's go. Go.
We got to take this.
I like the live version. I like the live version better. Train wreck of the week.
Okay.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. robbed after the Canelo fight. Apparently, there's a story behind this. Apparently, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. got robbed after getting pasted by Canelo Alvarez. The alleged robbery happened in a hotel room. After the fight, a video surfaced of Chavez Jr. in a room with a bunch of girls. Chavez Jr. appeared to be laying on the bed enjoying himself with about 4 or 5 girls, all around him and everything like that. His wife, Chavez's wife, Frida, spoke with ESPN Deportes about the incidents. Quote, "We stayed in Las Vegas because I wanted to go to a concert of Celine Dion on Tuesday. On Monday, we went down to the bar that's in the lobby. It's typical that people go there to see him and ask for a photo." Talking about Chavez Jr. These guys from Tamaulipas took a photo with Julio, and they went to go on with some other friends to take some pictures. And then a guy came in from London who spoke Spanish. He said, "I had a beer, but Chavez Jr. left Julia, his daughter, with a friend, and I knew he could not leave her with the friend any longer. So his wife went back up to get his daughter, and Chavez Jr. went with the guy from London and stayed there until about 5 or 6 in the morning with the hotel room." This is where apparently the robbery had happened and where the girls were, and this is where the video was shot. Those women were in the bar. They brought him up, recorded it. He remembered, but he did not tell me this because he knew it would make me angry. You think? Now that I saw the videos, I know nothing happened, and I told him that now I know. I have to be honest, and apparently the robbery happened. They stole his wallet. They stole his check. I guess they stole his. Apparently they got a check like right after the fight or whatever, to cover expenses and that kind of thing. So apparently they stole that check. They stole his $40,000 Hublot watch. Talking about Chavez Jr. Chakal actually sent me the videotape, and the videotape just shows Chavez Jr. on the bed with some chicks. They got their hands all over him, and it looks like he's having a good enough time, I guess. And apparently that's, like I said, when the robbery happened. But honestly, man, I don't feel that bad for Chavez Jr. After all, he robbed us of $70 by watching that garbage performance of his. Robert, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, since he robbed us, it's only fair that he got robbed too.
Oh.
Case closed.
Beeb, do you feel even a little bit bad for Chavez Jr.?
Can I be honest with you? I feel bad for his wife. And
what about that?
I think it's a bad look to do that to your wife, because I don't think any significant other would. Yeah, I don't think any significant other would really be happy with that. So
no.
Yeah, it's just a really irresponsible, bad look. And it kind of, I hate to say this, but it just looks bad on his character. You know what I mean? Because he's got a beautiful wife. He's got a beautiful daughter.
Oh yeah.
Why put that at risk for something stupid like that? You know, because his wife is beautiful.
Oh yeah, and they got a family together and everything like that.
They have a great family. He's got a beautiful child. Well, why jeopardize that?
Yeah. Why? I mean, and like I said, I mean, they show the video. He's got girls all around him and stuff like that. I mean, any significant other, whether she's your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, is not going to take kindly to that. I mean, they're not. You know, you can't. I'm like, seriously? Because I'm watching this video. I'm like, wow. You know, I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, he's married. Yeah, his wife's going to see this video. You know, I'm like, what is he doing? You know, he just never. You know, when you're in the limelight like that, he just never seemed to understand it. You know what I mean? Understand what's expected in the limelight when you get into those situations, you know, especially when, you know, you're married, your wife's not going to take kindly to watching you with a bunch of chicks on video. Just probably doesn't happen.
Well, here's a significant question, guys. How many boxers, seriously, when they're as popular as Chavez, even have stable relationships because of all the attention they get? I mean, there's just too much temptation out there for people like him to get involved in.
Yeah, and you know, I also heard the same thing too. Joel Lopez in the chat just said, word is that Junior's wife was married to a deceased son of Chapo Guzman. I heard she had cartel ties as well. I don't know if she was a daughter of somebody in that cartel or something like that. I don't know, man. That last thing I'd want to do is make any of those guys mad. That's for sure.
I know. Not only could your boxing career be over, but your life could be in serious jeopardy, brother.
Right.
Robbie, you were in the cartel at one point. How do you deal with something like that?
How do they work that? Yeah, really. I mean, how do they work that, Robert?
What would your people do if they found something out like that?
I can't believe you would even ask that question.
Well, I know. Now, listen, I know that you can't reveal a lot of that stuff. I mean, we're not asking you to like go all Godfather on us, but I mean, just like you know, just give us a little something. Give us, pull back the curtain a little bit. How do you guys deal with that?
Is it kind of like a blood in, blood out type thing?
What the hell is
blood in, blood out. Yeah.
We have Georgie talking about the mafia, and then you're asking me about the fucking cartel.
Oh! Whoa! Easy with the F-bombs. We got kids here.
Oh. I know. Yeah, Brianna just came in here, did the train wreck of the week. You know, that's why he wants a recording. You know.
Well, my God! I mean, we talk about the mafia every week when Georgie calls in, and you've got the nerve to ask me about the drug cartel. Yeah, I'm as clean as a whistle, brother.
Which just goes to show you, Beeb, nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. When you're hey, first rule of Fight Club.
He passed the test.
Yeah. Hey, Robbie's no dummy. First rule of Fight Club.
Robbie's a real G, man. He's a real G.
He's a real G.
Yeah.
In more potentially bad news.
God.
In more potentially bad news, Dana White of the UFC says he's reached a deal with Conor McGregor for the Mayweather fight. Dana White says he has come to terms with Conor McGregor, and next week he will try to come to terms with Floyd Mayweather to make the fight. Oh my gosh. Do you actually, I mean, Beeb, do you think he comes to terms with Floyd Mayweather? Word is that he's going to offer him $100 million. Word is that's what it's going to be about.
Yeah.
Conor, 100 to, if it's 50 to 75 to Conor, 100 to Floyd Mayweather.
I think the fight's going to get done because Floyd. I really think Floyd wants to fight. I think he wants it, and usually when he wants something, he gets it when it comes to boxing. Or business like this. I think he's going to get it. I think the fight will get done because as soon as you started hearing him say he wants to fight Pacquiao, like he was like really on board with it, then it happened. And I think this is going to happen because he's really been talking this fight up. He really wants it.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna happen. And
well, okay.
It could happen still in September. Do you think that they would maybe, like, would this be ridiculous? Tell me, because I think this would maybe be a good idea. Do you think that they would put this fight like the week before or the week after the Canelo fight?
No. I think they put it right on September 16th. You know why? Because there is no fight on September 16th. They've taken the date, but there is no venue, which means there is no fight. If Floyd agrees to this next week, MGM is putting this thing up September 16th, and guess what? Canelo and Triple G are not fighting September 16th. You would be a fool to go against that. You would be an absolute fool because then everybody loses money.
Yeah.
If Floyd goes in next week and says, yeah, let's get it done, MGM is hosting that fight. And then at that point, that's it.
MGM would well, you know what? I don't even think that the Canelo fight's going to be in Vegas. I have a feeling it's going to be in Texas.
I think so too, but it doesn't matter. I mean, because think about it. I mean, would you put your pay-per-view up against anything like that? No matter if it's a sideshow or not.
Yeah, that's
suicide.
As sad as that this may sound.
Absolutely.
I think Floyd McGregor would beat Canelo Golovkin.
For sure.
As it pains me to have to admit it,
for sure.
I think it's true.
Guys, keep one thing in mind. The cable companies and satellite companies, they only take one, whoever gets the date first, that's who gets the date first. So if McGregor and Mayweather come to a deal, then September 16th is theirs, and that means Tom Loeffler, Oscar De La Hoya, and everybody involved have to find another date that all the cable providers and satellite providers are going to accept, because you don't normally see two major pay-per-views back-to-back in the same month.
Yeah, that's a great point too, Robert. I mean, you're talking about in the same month. You're talking about a $70 pay-per-view, and who knows how much they're going to charge for this farce, if it comes off with McGregor and Mayweather.
About $100.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess they're going to need to. I mean, they would need to. I mean, but you talk about promotion, man. I mean, you're going to have the UFC behind it. You're going to have all of boxing, whoever's promoting that fight with Mayweather Promotions and everything like that. They've got a pretty good machine over there too. It's man. Yeah. That's and Floyd Mayweather can, he can promote a fight. I mean, they will absolutely take that date. So even though they say that September 16th date is gone, that date is not gone because there's no venue set. Until there's a venue, there's no fight. We can say all we want. Yeah, I'm going to fight on the 16th, but there is no fight. There's no venue. You have no place for it. So he can absolutely.
You have to have a venue before the fight's official.
100%. 100%.
Yep.
And do you think, I mean, honestly though, do you think that if, like I said, if they agree to terms or whatever, they can take that? I mean, do you honestly think they can bump them out of that date?
Floyd Mayweather can bump, I hate to say this, but Floyd Mayweather can bump anybody out of any date.
Well, Robert, let me ask you this. Now that they reached the deal with Conor McGregor, okay, do you think that they actually come to terms with Floyd Mayweather? Do you think he actually wants to do this? And
yeah, I do.
You think that, like I said, they come to a money agreement, because that's always Floyd's big thing is the money. Do you think they actually come to an agreement?
If Dana White offers him $100 million, Floyd is going to sign that contract, and there will be a fight on September 16th. And it will not be Canelo and Triple G. They're gonna have to fight either in October or November if the Mayweather and McGregor fight happens.
Yeah,
that fight will be pushed back a month or two.
Yeah, and I'm guessing October. I mean, that's wow. And where? I mean, yeah. That's a tough one, man. That's a real tough one.
Well, do you think that you think that Floyd decides to not fight in September, and do you think Floyd would allow the fight to happen in October or November for himself?
Well, you kind of wonder about that too, because I heard rumors that they wanted this fight in July, like July 4th or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I heard rumors like that. But, now that we're in May, that's not a whole lot of time. That's not a whole lot of time. So I don't know. And I mean, obviously September is the big, would be the ideal spot for that. But in July, I think the UFC is doing something big in July. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's when their big pay-per-views are.
They always have a big show. They always have a big show in July in Vegas every July.
Exactly.
That's why they wanted it. That's why they wanted it in July.
Yeah.
But unless they've been training all along, I don't think it's going to happen in July.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't know, but yeah, that would be a quick turnaround. I mean, you're looking at less than an 8-week camp now. So yeah, that's a quick turnaround. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Crazy that we're even. I
guarantee you, I'm not paying for that.
I find it fascinating that we're even talking about this. That they would even sanction this. Yeah. That we're actually having this conversation multiple times. Because it's actually.
I'm not paying for it. I can guarantee you that.
Really? Beeb, are you going to pay for it?
Yep. Hey.
This may be the one rare time that I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Fuck.
Look, I got suckered in with May and Mayweather Pacquiao. I'm not gonna get suckered in with McGregor and Mayweather. No, thank you.
I'll probably buy one of the T-shirts too. That's how sick I am.
What are that T-shirt? He's gonna have the one with Conor McGregor, that little icon. He did this little icon with him standing over Floyd or whatever. That guy's a fool, boy.
I'll probably buy the over. I'll probably bet on the over/under in rounds too. That's how much of a loser I am. I'll do a beat in the odds of Beeb on it too.
Oh, good God.
Oh, my God. So the sickness runs deep.
I'm not going to finance this. It's for damn sure.
We'll have it hyped up. We'll have it hyped up. Everybody be buying that fight after. They'll do such a promotion job. We'll all be into it. I'm
going to buy Ward Kovalev, and I'm going to buy Canelo and Triple G. Man, that's where my money's going.
Yeah, I think so. I'd buy Ward again. Ward Kovalev again. Yeah, I think so.
Someone in the chat just asked me, why would you pay for that? And my simple answer to that question is because I have pay-per-view-itis.
Junkie. The junkie. What did you bought the Roy Jones Roy Jones fight with
I bought the Roy Jones fight with Bobby Gunn.
Yeah, with Bobby Gunn. But in all fairness though, I would have bought that fight too, but we didn't have it on DirecTV.
Hey, if DirecTV had it available, I would have bought it.
And I would have bought it because I like Bobby Gunn, man. He's a friend of the show. He's a real good, super nice guy, great guy. But yeah, I would have totally bought that one too. I like Bobby.
I already called Comcast and I told him to reserve a pay-per-view buy for me if Chris Brown fights Soldier Boy.
If Chris Brown fights Soldier Boy.
I was getting ready to buy that too.
Yeah, what happened to that fight? That fight fell apart.
I don't know.
I guess they started training and figured it wasn't worth it. Like, let's squash it.
Probably started training. They probably started training and they couldn't do a full round on the heavy bags. They said, you know what, we can do this.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Joseph Parker wants Tony Bellew next in the UK. Wow. He's quoted as telling the New Zealand Herald, "I think he's the best opponent for me. I think the best opponent for me next would be Tony Bellew." I'd like to see the fight.
I like it.
I would like Bellew to fight Wilder next, though. I mean, Bellew, I'll tell you what, if Bellew goes against Parker, he wins. And he gets the championship.
Absolutely, he wins.
But if Bellew fights Wilder, I'm not so sure Bellew wins, but I will tell you this, I'm rolling with Bellew in that fight. I say he beats Wilder. I think so. And everybody's going to call me crazy, but hey, I was crazy for picking him over David Haye too, so.
I think it's time for Deontay Wilder to be taught a lesson.
Wow.
And hopefully he fights somebody real where he actually loses his title, brother.
Look at you. He's a friend of the show.
Why are you wishing bad on Deontay Wilder?
Oh, he's a friend of the show.
Please.
Oh.
Hey, Eric, he's full of Swiss cheese. He's got too many holes.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's horrible.
It's a low blow right there.
Hating on him. Wilder's a nice guy. Get the bomb squad on the show.
He can't even he can't even hold Anthony Joshua's jock. Okay.
Whoa!
Oh!
Is this Joshua's jock strap? Why are you going to bring that into the equation?
Because Beeb, I think Deontay Wilder is in serious hot water. I think he loses. Unless he fights another stiff, I think he loses his next fight. Period.
Oh, we ain't messing with Wilder, man. Hating on him.
I think Wilder beats Joseph. I think he beats Joseph Parker though.
Who, Wilder? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, he'll beat Parker, but anybody else with a pulse, I don't know, man.
Can he beat Luis Ortiz? Robbie, can Wilder beat Luis Ortiz?
No, I don't think so.
No, absolutely not.
No, and I'm not big on Louis Ortiz either, man. I'm really not. I can't take it away from him. He's skilled. I can't take that away from him, but I'm not real big on him. I think he's got.
Yeah, but there's too much. There's too much, Eric. With him, there's too much inactivity.
Yeah, I would go along with that. I don't think that Wilder beats him though. I could be wrong. I give Wilder a puncher's chance, but skill wise, I think Louis Ortiz definitely, for sure, is better than Wilder skill wise. But does he have a puncher's chance? Absolutely. I think so. But I still think that Louis Ortiz is.
Yep.
Louis Ortiz beats him. Hey, Eddie P in the chat is saying, and I don't know if this is legit or not. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. Put it that way. That James Toney was a pay-per-view last night. Was that right? Did anybody catch that? Was that on pay-per-view?
I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea if that's true or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
George, you just wrote in the chat, Robbie's a savage. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. It wasn't. I didn't see it on direct TV.
You want me to sugarcoat it or what?
Oh, look at you. You're so mean. So mean. So mean. All right. Let's talk about the World Boxing.
Hey,
oh, he's still on. What's up?
Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, okay. I was going to move on. The World Boxing Super Series.
Yeah.
The series will feature cruiserweights and super middleweight divisions in the first season. This is a series that Richard Schaefer is working with. I'm excited, man. I'm hoping there's some big names in the tournament. It's almost like it sounds like a Boxino on steroids. I think we'll get bigger names than Boxino had, but I missed the Boxino tournament. Am I the only one that misses that?
It was okay. I didn't think it was bad.
No, I love those tournaments, man.
What is up with Beeb? It's okay. It was just okay.
Well,
me and Robbie were on the edge of our seats all the this whole thing. We got popcorn out and everything like that. We talked about it all the time. Man. And Beeb's just like, it was just all right for me. You didn't like it?
Some of the fights were a little bit uneventful, but the theory of it, was good. Let's just say that.
So, realistically, does this attract stars in the cruiserweight and super middleweight division? Because, when I look at this, I'll give an example. Like, when I look at this, any kind of tournament in boxing, if I'm an up-and-comer who wants to prove myself, and I may not get a shot otherwise, I'm going to enter the tournament. But if I'm an established top 10 guy, I don't know that I'm necessarily, jeopardizing my ranking to get in this thing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a big risk. Then you tie yourself up for a couple fights, right?
Yeah.
A lot of fighters don't like doing that.
Yeah, because what if a title shot comes?
It also depends on how much money is offered, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Well, $1 million is what I'm hearing for the winner. It's $1 million. It's not chump change. I'm hearing $1 million for the cruiser and $1 million for the super middleweight. So it's got a fair amount of money. There's definitely a fair amount of money in here. And most of the guys in those divisions aren't really bringing in that kind of money. That's for sure.
And do we have a TV outlet that's going to cover this?
I would say PBC. I would say, well, whoever, PBC is not, I guess, not promoting it, but the PBC outlets that we've seen in the past, like your ESPNs, your CBS, NBC. I wonder, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
I don't know of any TV outlets. I mean, nobody is, it's not, but it's got to be, I mean, I would imagine it's going to be on those type of outlets,
see, if you want to get a big name fighter to possibly sign up for this, he's going to want to know two things. How much am I going to get paid? Who am I going to be fighting? And is it going to be on TV?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too. Well, that's a good point, too, is that, like, and they're going to be, I think tomorrow is the when they're actually going to announce it or announce some of they're going to announce something this week. So I'm hoping to see, like, who's in this and, cruiserweights and super middleweights. Anybody you'd like to see in it? I mean, is there anybody in those two divisions that you'd like to see in it that you think realistically will be in it?
What about Andrew Tabini? Would he be in it?
Well, let's see. I mean, in the super middleweight division, you got people like, but I don't know if people like James DeGale or the brothers, the ones their names escape me.
Durrells, yeah, the Durrell.
Those guys, Durrells. People like that. I don't know if they'd be into something like this.
Well, that's what I'll be curious about too. I mean, you got all these guys from the PBC that aren't getting fights. Will they be in this? I don't know.
Yeah. And then you've got Dwotsky for the cruiserweights and people like that. So You remember Robert, when it was just like a few months ago? It just seems like yesterday. When you want to abolish the cruiserweight division, you totally wanted to get rid of that division. Now look at you. Actually, you're the one that said that.
Was that me? Was that me?
Yeah.
I can't believe that was me. No way.
That was you. Go back and listen to the tape, brother. Go back and listen to the tape.
That's right. So it should be interesting, man. It should be an interesting week when to maybe even find out, like, at least a couple of guys are who's in this. I don't know if they got all the slots filled yet, but I mean, it'll be really interesting to see who's in this and everything like that. But tournaments in boxing are tricky. Tournaments in boxing are just tricky, when it comes to that kind of thing, man. What if somebody gets injured? What if they can't? It's just different.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
I mean, the last. Let's think about it, guys. The last successful big-time boxing tournament that we've had was the Super Six, when they were all in the 168 division. This division right here. That's the last time a big tournament actually took place and did well. Ever since then, we've had smaller tournaments like the Boxino, and those of us that are into boxing, we've enjoyed it. But there has never been anything on a major scale since then. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
But look at the bumps in the road that tournament had, because look, Jermaine Taylor had to pull out of it. Andre Durrell had to pull out of it.
Yeah.
Then you had Glenn Johnson in there. You had what's his name, Alan Green in there. It's like it didn't play out the way it was supposed to play out. You had people popping in and out of it. So. And
can I be honest? I hated the Super Six format.
Right.
I hated it. Wasn't it
it was
soccer format or something like that, where each guy fought each other twice, and it took up about, I don't know, 15 years of their career, trying to get to a winner.
Well, it would have been better if it was single elimination. It was
right. Much.
You had two losses and you were gone. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like. Like I said, the whole round robin thing where, it was like a soccer tournament where each one played each other, once or twice, and then they averaged up the records, and then they moved on, and then they fought each other again.
Yeah.
It just
seemed like it was dragged out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was too long,
It legitimately took 2 years to finish.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
It was ridiculous.
The good part is for the fighters, at least they had fights and at least they had paydays. But, as fans watching it, it's like, dude, just speed it up, So Shannon Briggs and Freza Kendo are official for June 3rd, as we stated. This week they held a press conference and for their WBA heavyweight title showdown. Beeb, if Shannon Briggs you said if Shannon Briggs wins, he is still not in your eyes a heavyweight champion. He's much the heavyweight champion, just like James Toney. So I'll pose a question to Robert. Robert, if Shannon Briggs or Fresakendo win, do you recognize them as the WBA heavyweight champion?
No, the only WBA heavyweight champion is in the UK, and his name is Anthony Joshua. And if you want that title, that's who you have to beat.
There's only one, Anthony Joshua.
There you go. Robert Easter and Dennis Shafikov is now official. The fight is scheduled for June 30th in Toledo, Ohio. Robert Easter will rain down on Dennis Shafikov. He's from Toledo. I tell you what, I fully expect a packed house there in Toledo. Last time I was there for his fight, it was completely packed. I think they had 8,000 to 10,000 people there. I know that arena was full, so whatever it was to capacity. It was a sellout. I expect the same thing this time. But I tell you what, man, Shafikov is no joke. This is a very, very tough fight for Easter. Beeb, what are your thoughts on this fight right here? Beeb? Maybe not. Robert, what's your thoughts on the fight?
Well, we lost Beeb. I was waiting.
No, I'm right here. I'm sorry.
Wonderful breakdown, as he always.
This is wonderful.
What did you ask me, Eric?
What are your thoughts on the Robert Easter Dennis Shafikov fight on June 30th?
I like Robert Easter in that fight because I think Robert Easter's advantage in being able to fight on the outside very well. I think Dennis Shafikov, he's the guy that needs to get close, but he's not nowhere near as quick as Robert Easter. I don't think he's as sharp as a puncher, and he's not really a big puncher to begin with either. So if he can't really get Robert Easter's attention, then I think Robert Easter is going to have a pretty easy night. I think Robert Easter wins the fight handily. I think it's going to be, possibly like a 9 rounds to 3 type fight. Yeah.
Wow. All right. What about what about you, Robert? What do you think of Shafikov's chances here?
Robert, I think this will be a very easy night for Robert.
Wow.
I think he's going to put on a good show for those on Bounce TV and those in Toledo. I think he'll walk away with a 9-3, 10-2 kind of victory. I don't think it'll be close. Easy title defense for the Toledo man, Robert Easter.
Wow. See, I think it's going to be a tough fight for Easter. I'm glad you guys got so much confidence. But I agree. Well, I tell you what, I agree with you guys. I think Robert Easter is the class of the lightweight division. I think he's the best lightweight out there, as we've stated on the show many times. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Right?
He's a good fighter.
Yeah.
He's a tough fighter, man.
You think he's the class of the division, yes?
Top 3.
Top 3. Top 3.
I'll give you top
Easter. Who beats Easter? Nobody. Beats him.
I think Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia.
Is he still around?
I think Jorge Linares gives him a hell of a fight.
Oh, he murks Linares. No way. I think Garcia gives him a good fight. I think Garcia gives him a good fight. I don't think he beats him, though. No way. Easter, man. He's from Ohio, guys. Come on. Title Town, baby. All right. Let's talk about Amir Khan here. What's that? Go ahead.
I was going to say, and you claim Adrian Broner, the train wreck of the week champion of the world.
He's undisputed. You can't even dispute it. He's undisputed train wreck of the week champion. Undisputed.
Yeah. All right.
Amir Khan wants to put Kell Brook in his place. Amir Khan says he has 2 names on the table right now, Kell Brook and Manny Pacquiao. He says he'll announce who he's going to fight next month. I think this is great because both of these guys are already set with other opponents. Khan claims that he doesn't duck anyone. He said he's fought everyone that's ever been put in front of him. But how many times did Kell Brook call him out? I mean,
a lot.
Everyone has moved on but Amir Khan. I love the fact that he's calling out Manny Pacquiao. I love the fact that he's calling out Kell Brook. Both of these guys, and Pacquiao, to his credit, was going to fight Amir Khan, until they found out there was, the guy he was getting hustled by the guy in Dubai. And I don't know if you saw the video or not, but Amir Khan had come out and said, this is why Pacquiao didn't fight me. Well, Pacquiao didn't fight you because he was duped. That's why he didn't fight you, because the guy had no money when he was, putting up the fight. He said he had $80 billion and, there was no money to be found. So, that's why there was no fight. Because trust me, if there was money, there'd be a fight. That's the way it goes. It's not like he just pulled out because he was scared, What are your thoughts, Beeb? You're our Englishman here on the panel. What are your thoughts on Amir Khan here? I mean, really. I mean, Kell Brook and Manny Pacquiao are the two names he's calling out. Both those guys got much bigger fights than Amir Khan. I guess with the exception of Jeff Horn. But what are your thoughts on this? I mean, is he just delusional? He said he's going to announce the fight next month. I mean, really? I mean, is he delusional here?
You can say what you want about Amir Khan, but he does always seem to find his way into a big fight eventually. So the problem is he's just so picky on who he fights that he's willing to sit out long periods of time until he gets that specific fight that he wants. So there's no stay busy fights for him. He's not concerned about long layoffs. He's basically, he has his sights set on something. Be with him, and it's not always good in the sport of boxing. You need to fight, you need to be active, you need to stay sharp, and it definitely doesn't behoove him to do what he's been doing over the last couple of years, is sitting there waiting on big fights. I mean, he got a big fight with Canelo, got a real nice payday with that. Again, he was out for a long period of time, and it couldn't have helped him in the fight. So
why does he do that? I mean, why does he? I mean, it seems like he just waits and he gets passed over. He waited for Floyd, it got passed over, and he puts his career on hold. He doesn't go get other fights in between that.
I will say one thing, and I don't know if it would be feasible in his opinion, but I think win, lose, or draw. I still think the Kell Brook fight would still be a sellable fight for him. And I don't know if if Brook not having the title anymore, if that would make him lose interest in fighting Brook. I don't know, but just the rivalry between the two.
Yeah.
British rivalry, and they could put it somewhere. I think people would still, because again, Kell Brook loses, Khan has lost recently too. So it's not really about who's hot or not. It's just about putting these two guys in there and seeing the two styles and seeing the build up and the storyline and all the stuff that comes along with this event. I think it would still garner a lot of interest in the event. So many times we've seen guys that haven't been in the prime of their careers or coming off losses or whatever, and because the styles meshed well, it turned out to be a good fight. This could be one of those fights. It could be a good fight as well as a good event because of the animosity these two guys have for each other.
Do you think that fight comes off? I mean, Kell Brook's going to fight, he's going to fight Errol Spence. We suspect that Errol Spence is going to beat him, and then we suspect after that Kell Brook I would suspect that Kell Brook moves up. I guess it depends on how he loses. But I would suspect that Kell Brook moves up to 54. And I believe Khan can go there. But, I mean, do you think the fight will happen?
If you would ask me percentage-wise, much of a percent do I think it would happen, I would say it has a 75% chance of happening, yes.
Yeah, and then in the chat, somebody said, you got to give it to basically Amir Khan. He continues to do nothing.
90 seconds.
And stay in the headlines, and he's 100% right.
Yeah, that was my point. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Regardless of the decision making or lack thereof.
Right.
He seems to always get that big fight eventually.
Yeah, Robert. What about you? What are your thoughts on Amir Khan? He says he wants Pacquiao and Brook next. Do you think he gets either one of those two?
You know what? I'm. You may think I'm nuts here, but
60 seconds.
Getting both of these fights.
You see him getting both of them?
One,
wow. Okay.
I think he'll get both. I think he could get both fights. Because number one, who the hell is Jeff Horn? We don't know anything about a Jeff Horn. I mean, Manny Pacquiao, if he really wants to make some money, he could fight Amir Khan over in the UK, and that would sell really well. Okay, if he wants to do this world tour business, he could go over to the UK, make a lot of money. They could put on an entertaining fight, and even if Khan loses, if he's competitive, I still think that the Cal Brook fight is there, but I do think if Khan wants to fight Brook, he's going to have to go to 154. And
10 seconds.
154 when he fought Canelo until he got iced, you know?
Yeah.
So I do think that it is possible he could take the Pacquiao fight at 147, and then he could do the Brook fight at 154. I think both of those are big money fights, and if he stays in shape, you know, he could still get both of these. Am I crazy?
Do you think?
Probably, but I'd like to see both of them.
Well, do you think, though, I mean, like, does he have to win one to get the other, or you think he could just lose both or lose one and still get the other?
No, I depending on how if he gets knocked out by Manny Pacquiao, because Pacquiao hasn't knocked anybody out since Ricky Hatton, then I think the Brook fight's in trouble. But if he's competitive against Pacquiao and he fights well and he loses a close decision, I think the Brook fight is still there. Beeb, am I nuts?
Yeah. I think he would have to fight Pacquiao first in order to keep the Brook fight alive. Because if he fought Brook first and lost to Brook, then I think the chances of a Pacquiao fight happening would not be that good. So, yeah, if he follows the order that you laid out there, yeah, I agree with you, Robbie. I think if he follows the order you laid out there for him, that both fights are definitely feasible or possibly feasible.
Absolutely.
There it is. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810 and leave him a message. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1. Find his YouTube channel at www.beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. I'm at Ringside 73, and we will see you next week.
Good night, everyone.